Luke 20:1 through 47. Devotional focus verse. And it came to pass that on one of those days, as he taught the people in the temple and preached the gospel, the chief priests and the scribes came upon him with the elders, and spake unto him, saying, Tell us, by what authority doest thou these things? Or who is he that gave thee this authority? Luke 20:1 and 2. When my sister-in-law's children were young, she provided in-home childcare for other youngsters as well. One day, the mother of one of the children came to pick up her son. However, Billy was playing with my nephew and did not want to leave, so he ignored his mother when she said it was time to go. She summoned him the second time, saying in a firmer tone, Billy, you need to come now. Still not inclined to comply, he defiantly responded, You aren't the boss of me. There was a moment of absolute silence, and then his mother asked in a slow and measured tone, What did you say? Billy, realizing his error, nervously responded, No, I mean, you and Dad, you're both the boss of me. I am not sure if Billy's about-face got him out of trouble, but his quickly modified reply illustrates that there is an appropriate response to people with authority, and also responses that are not appropriate. Authority is a concept accepted by most people, because without it, society would be chaotic. Some individuals, however, choose to reject authority. They typically pay a price. The world's prisons are full of such rebels. In today's focus verse, the priests and scribes challenged Jesus' authority as the divine Son of God by trying to entrap him. If Jesus had responded to their question about where his authority came from by asserting it was from God, they would have accused him of blasphemy. However, his response was to ask them a question which he knew they would not answer for political reasons. Since they would not respond to his query, according to tradition, he was under no obligation to answer theirs. Then Jesus told the parable of the vineyard, in which the husbandman who had the responsibility of caring for the vineyard failed to provide the owner with a return on his investment. Obviously, the husbandman had rejected the owner's authority and viewed the vineyard as theirs. The priests and scribes were furious when they heard this parable. They knew Jesus was pointing out their failure to care properly for the spiritual welfare of Israel and their rejection of his authority as the long-awaited Messiah. The priests and scribes of Jesus' day are not the only ones to whom this parable relates. In society today, many challenge Jesus' authority. The deity of Christ and the authority of his teachings are under continual onslaught from many, including atheistic college professors, anti-religious movie producers, ungodly authors, and immoral cultural activists. However, even widespread opposition does not change the facts. The deity of Christ is the foundation of our faith. Rejection of the authority of Jesus Christ dismisses the fact that all mankind is born into sin, that there is an eternal penalty for sin, and that we have a responsibility toward God. In fact, every biblical principle crumbles if Jesus is not God's Son, come to earth to give his life for the salvation of mankind. Let us honor and respect the authority of Jesus, the Son of God. He is worthy. background information. Luke paid great attention to detail, including dates and events that happened throughout the life of Christ. So today's text in Luke chapter 20 gives another reliable glimpse into the opposition of Jewish religious leaders to Jesus' ministry. This portion of Scripture records 3 occasions in which the chief priests and the scribes challenged his authority. First, we read of their question regarding the source of his authority, to which Jesus responded with his own question and the parable of the wicked husbandman. See verses 1 through 19. Next, they queried him about paying taxes. See verses 20 through 26. Finally, they asked questions about the resurrection. See verses 27 through 47. With respect to the parable of the vineyard and husbandman, it was customary in Jesus' day for property owners to have tenant farmers work their land. Absentee landlords were common, and in such cases, payments to the landowner were made at harvest time. Typically, the relationship between the tenants and owners was good, and the tenants were grateful for the work. Jesus' mention of the stone which the builders rejected in verse 17 was a quote from Psalm 118, verse 22. He was pointing out to the religious leaders that their rejection of him was a fulfillment of prophecy. While Jesus' words might have been obscure to some who were listening, the chief priests and scribes would have had no trouble in recognizing that Jesus was referring to them. The religious leaders' question in verse 22 was designed to entrap Jesus. If he had responded that they should pay taxes, they assumed Jesus' hearers would turn against him because of their hatred of the Roman oppressors. If he responded that they need not pay taxes, the religious leaders could turn him in as a traitor to Rome. However, once again, Jesus outwitted them by his response. The Sadducees who questioned Jesus regarding the resurrection did not believe in resurrection, angels, or spirits. See Acts 23:8. Again, the motive of their question was to entrap Jesus. However, Jesus sidestepped their efforts by basing his answer on the writings of Moses, the only author of ancient writings that the Sadducees acknowledged as an authoritative source. Conclusion. Like the religious leaders of Jesus' time, many today reject Christ's authority. However, we want to be among those who acknowledge, respect, and obey him.
Luke chapter 20. And it came to pass, that on one of those days, as he taught the people in the temple, and preached the gospel, the chief priests and the scribes came upon him with the elders, and spake unto him, saying, Tell us, by what authority doest thou these things? Or who is he that gave thee this authority? And he answered and said unto them, I will also ask you one thing, and answer me. The baptism of John, was it from heaven, or of men? And they reasoned with themselves, saying, If we shall say, From heaven, he will say, Why then believed ye him not? But and if we say, Of men, all the people will stone us, for they be persuaded that John was a prophet. And they answered, that they could not tell whence it was. And Jesus said unto them, Neither tell I you by what authority I do these things. Then began he to speak to the people this parable. A certain man planted a vineyard, and led it forth to husbandmen, and went into a far country for a long time. And at the season he sent a servant to the husbandmen, that they should give him of the fruit of the vineyard, but the husbandmen beat him, and sent him away empty. And again he sent another servant, and they beat him also, and entreated him shamefully, and sent him away empty. And again he sent a third, and they wounded him also, and cast him out. Then said the Lord of the vineyard, What shall I do? I will send my beloved son, it may be they will reverence him when they see him. But when the husbandmen saw him, they reasoned among themselves, saying, This is the heir, come, let us kill him, that the inheritance may be ours. So they cast him out of the vineyard, and killed him. What therefore shall the Lord of the vineyard do unto them? He shall come and destroy these husbandmen, and shall give the vineyard to others. And when they heard it, they said, God forbid. And he beheld them, and said, What is this then that is written, The stone which the builders rejected, the same is become the head of the corner? Whosoever shall fall upon that stone shall be broken, but on whomsoever it shall fall, it will grind him to powder. And the chief priests and the scribes the same hour sought to lay hands on him, and they feared the people, for they perceived that he had spoken this parable against them. And they watched him, and sent forth spies, which should feign themselves just men, that they might take hold of his words, that so they might deliver him unto the power and authority of the governor. And they asked him, saying, Master, we know that thou sayest and teachest rightly, neither acceptest thou the person of any, but teachest the way of God truly. Is it lawful for us to give tribute unto Caesar, or no? But he perceived their craftiness, and said unto them, Why tempt ye me? Show me a penny. Whose image and superscription hath it? They answered and said, Caesar's. And he said unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things which be Caesar's, and unto God the things which be God's. And they could not take hold of his words before the people, and they marveled at his answer, and held their peace. Then came to him certain of the Sadducees, which deny that there is any resurrection, and they asked him, saying, Master, Moses wrote unto us, If any man's brother die, having a wife, and he die without children, that his brother should take his wife, and raise up seed unto his brother. There were therefore 7 brethren, and the first took a wife, and died without children. And the second took her to wife, and he died childless. And the third took her, and in like manner the 7 also, and they left no children, and died. Last of all the woman died also. Therefore in the resurrection whose wife of them is she? For 7 had her to wife. And Jesus answering said unto them, The children of this world marry, and are given in marriage. But they which shall be accounted worthy to obtain that world, and the resurrection from the dead, neither marry, nor are given in marriage. Neither can they die any more, for they are equal unto the angels, and are the children of God, being the children of the resurrection. Now that the dead are raised, even Moses showed at the bush, when he calleth the Lord the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. For he is not a God of the dead, but of the living, for all live unto him. Then certain of the scribes answering said, Master, thou hast well said. And after that they durst not ask him any question at all. And he said unto them, How say they that Christ is David's son? And David himself saith in the book of Psalms, The Lord said unto my Lord, Sit thou on my right hand, till I make thine enemies thy footstool. David therefore calleth him Lord, how is he then his son? Then in the audience of all the people he said unto his disciples, Beware of the scribes, which desire to walk in long robes, and love greetings in the markets, and the highest seats in the synagogues, and the chief rooms at feasts. Which devour widows' houses, and for a show make long prayers, the same shall receive greater damnation.